Welcome to Joy for the Journey, the podcast where we explore the winding paths of purpose, faith, and joy. I'm your host, Joy, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. Are you a woman seeking more than just existence and a soul yearning for fulfillment, purpose, and unwavering joy? Well, you're not alone. In this sacred space, we'll navigate the highs and lows, the doubts and triumphs, and the divine whispers guiding us toward our true calling. Through candid conversations, inspiring stories, and practical insights, Joy for the Journey is your compass, your confidant, and your catalyst for embracing the abundant life God intends for you. So if you're ready to reclaim your joy, renew your hope, and rediscover the woman God created you to be, join me on this adventure. Let's walk together step by step towards a life filled with purpose, passion, and unbridled joy. This is Joy for the Journey. Welcome aboard. Hey, it's Joy Jackson of Speaking of Joy, and welcome to Joy for the Journey. I say it all the time, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, that there are a number of podcasts that you could listen to, probably some even more popular than this, but I am so grateful every time that someone logs in, someone hears it, someone shares it, and that's really only my ask. If this podcast blesses you, I encourage you and I implore you, and I'll ask you just to share it with someone else, another woman who may be in the season that you're in, or another woman who is just looking for community, because that's what Speaking of Joy is all about. And so, as you know, we are in the thick of the Hope Anyway series. And I got to tell you, this Hope Anyway series has blessed me so much that I almost feel like it needs to keep going. But God only gave me 4 weeks, but I feel like it needs to keep going. And the emails that I've been sending, that I write, have resonated with me so much that I can tell they're resonating with other women because they are sharing and they're sharing their confirmations. And so I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful. And this week we're talking about being in the middle. You know, the middle is like when you're not where you used to be, but you're not where you are going because you know God has taught you or shown you where you're going. You're just literally in the middle. Or better yet, if you've ever cruised, you know how you leave your port and you head on your ship to your destination. And sometimes you have to sail in the ocean for what they call days at sea, where you're just at sea and you have to wait until you get there. Now, what's interesting about being on a cruise, of course, is guess what? They got things to do. So it's a party while you have those days at sea, right? They've got the Lido deck, they've got brunch and food everywhere, they've got activities, you can swim, you can lay out, you can watch a movie. So there are a whole lot of things you can do while you're in the middle of the sea. But in the middle of your life, there's not always that much fun. When you're in the middle of your season, you don't necessarily have the luxury or the desire to just lay out and just have a funky good time. If you're like me, you're like, God, when is this going to be over? Like for real. Like I'm in the middle. I just really want to get to my destination. And so this series is designed to help you hope even in the middle. Because I know people say, well, the middle is where I'm learning and God is delivering me and he's making me better. Yeah, but in real life, that middle, sometimes it sucks. That middle, sometimes it's lonely. That middle, sometimes it hurts because God is working on you. God is making you better. But it doesn't change the fact that growth hurts sometimes, and being better and being made perfect in his image is not always a pretty sight. And so this is an encouragement to hope anyway, even in the middle, to still have hope. And remember, we talked about hope in the last episode, and it's an expectation and a looking forward to. So even though I may be in the middle of the sea on a cruise, I know that if I look at, oh man, okay, listen, I know that if I look at the travel brochure or the app that they give me, they show me the progress along the way and they show me where I'm headed. And that's the joy in being on this cruise. I can see it and I can say, oh, okay, I see I've got a few extra days or some more time. So we may not know God's time, but we do know that we will arrive. In fact, that's why I got excited when I made the noises, because I imagined the same thing happening in the spirit, but the difference is it's the Bible. So the Bible shows you and charts your course and tells you what God is going to do for you, because the promises of God are yes and amen. So even in this Bible, even in your prayer time, even in the journals that you've been writing, God has already shown you what it is he's going to do. And he's shown you how you're going to get there. You're going to get there with him. He just may not have shown you when. And for most of us, when we're at sea, what happens? We go to bed and we wake up, boom, we're at our destination. And so, although you're going to arrive, this message is to encourage you while you're in the middle. And I don't think we talk about being in the middle enough. Like, we celebrate the beginnings, we show enough testify at the end, but most of our living is done in the middle. Most of our life is lived in the middle. And we don't give enough acknowledgement to the feelings, to the frustrations, to the faith that's required while we're in the middle. And so I want to share this story with you. I'm going to encourage you to read John chapter 11, verses 21 through 45. And this is the story of Mary and Martha and Lazarus. And this is the story of Lazarus being raised from the tomb. But I don't even want to focus on that. I want to focus on the very beginning, because when you look at the story, I think there's so much parallel to the relationships we have with God and how we have to trust God when we know he can do something, but his decision is a different time than ours. So if you look at the beginning of the scripture, I'm going to invite you to read it. And so as we start this story and we look at the Bible, basically we find out that Jesus got notification that Lazarus was sick. And it says that Mary and Martha notified Jesus that Lazarus was sick. And so although Lazarus was sick, Jesus said immediately from that statement that the sickness is not to end in death, but for God's glory, and that his son may be glorified through it. So I want you to know that what you're experiencing is not unto death. What you're experiencing is for God's glory, and that the Son of God may be glorified in it. What does that really mean? That just means that I know it doesn't feel good. I know there may be a struggle, but it's for God's glory. It's not to condemn you. It's not to punish you. It's not to aggravate you. It's not to delay you. It's not to deny you. It is so that when God does what he's going to do, nobody gets the glory but him. And if you know the story, I mean, literally, God raised Lazarus from the dead. Nobody could have done that. Nobody could have raised Lazarus except Jesus himself. And that goes to show you the power of Jesus. And so many times when we're going through something and we're in the middle, we want to rush to the end. But if we got to the end too soon, then would we really give God glory? I mean, think about it. If I really could figure it out on my own and do it by myself, would I really give God glory? Or would I say thank you and take all the credit? I'm going to say that most of us would probably say thank you and take all the credit. But the middle is where we build our fortitude. The middle is where God works behind the scenes. See, so many times we expect certain things from God and we want to see what he does in front of us. But sometimes we don't need to see it. Sometimes we only need to see what the outcome is and what the result is. And so as you're walking in the middle, I want you to stop asking God, reveal to me what you're doing. God, reveal to me what you're doing. No, God, give me the strength to endure. Let me not be worried about the details, God. Let me just focus on what it is you're doing in my life. And that is, you are still charting my course. And though I may be in the middle, this is the moment, and this is where you're going to do all that you're going to do for me. And I want to encourage you that the moment doesn't mean that you're not emotion, right? The middle doesn't mean you're not emotion. The middle just means that you haven't gotten to where you need to be, but you're still moving. If you're in the middle and you're stuck, that might be on you, friend. But when we think about the middle, we've got to get out of this mindset that it's failure, or we've got to get out of this mindset of comparison, because the middle is more about me than it is about anyone else around me. The middle is more about my story and my testimony than it is about anyone around me. And so if I'm honest, I mean, the middle is where our faith is most tested, because we can shout once it's over. And we can even trust God when we begin to go into it. But when we don't see anything change, when we don't hear anything come back, that's where we struggle because now the silence feels like abandonment. The silence feels like punishment. The silence feels so loud because this is a God who answers prayers. This is a God who hears me. This is a God whose ear is inclined to me. So why is he not responding? And so what do? So here's my first thing. When you're in the middle requires assurance in who God is. So you got to know who God is in the middle because this is where the enemy will come and try to convince you otherwise. This is where your friends, those ones that you really don't need to be talking to, well, girl, if I was you, they would do all of that. But in the middle, this is where you've got to have some assurance. And it's so interesting. Y'all know the hymn, Blessed Assurance, Jesus is Mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. That song was a song that helped our mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers be reminded that even if it doesn't all work out, I've got an assurance, meaning I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jesus is mine. And so when you look at being in the middle, you got to have an assurance that it's not going to always be like this. You've got to have an assurance that God is still with you, even when you don't see him or hear him. I can tell you there was a time a few years ago where I really was like, God, do you hear me? Because I'm out here in the middle and I can't swim. And I mean that literally. Like I can tread water. But even treading water after a while, that kicking and moving them hands, baby, they get tired. And that's how I felt. I felt like I was in the middle of the ocean and I had done all I could to stay afloat. And I'm like, God, do you see me? God, do you hear me? God, where are you? And he wouldn't respond. Now, I'll say this. He wouldn't respond the way I wanted him to respond because God was not ignoring me. He was just allowing me to get tired of paddling myself and doggy paddling and treading water so that all I had to do was turn around and float. Because once I gave up all of the efforts to try to stay above myself and I relaxed and I let it go, I was lighter. And you know anything about floating, once you relax your body and let it go, your buoyant body is going to rise. And that's where I was. I was out in the middle just trying to figure it out, work it out, doing all I could, calling everybody, just trying to make everything work. And God is like, listen, when you get tired, you'll relax and you'll let me take over. And so being in the middle is where I have to be reminded that God is with me, that he is always with me, that he will not leave me nor forsake me, that he is concerned about me. No matter what I experience, no matter what I feel, God is with me. And so that's really one of the hardest challenges I think in the middle is for us to let go. It's for us to give it up. It's for us to just truly say, God, I'm going to let you have it. And so at this point, they sent a message to Jesus that said, hey, our brother is sick. And if you keep reading, Jesus already said, hey, listen, this isn't unto death. So I've already spoken that healing will happen. I've already spoken that he will rise again, even though he hadn't even made it to Lazarus, even though he didn't tell Mary and Martha that. He had already decided. He already knew what his plan was for Lazarus so that he could get the glory. He meaning Jesus could get the glory. So while we're praying and sending messages and asking God to do, he's already decided and figured out what the end will be. So he already declared it's not unto death. So what in your life feels like it's coming to an end or feels like it's already at the point of you dying and God is like, it's not unto death. And I'm not just talking physical, I'm talking spiritual, I'm talking relationships, I'm talking financial, and you are panicking and you're sending messages and you're praying every day. And God is like, listen, wash your face, put on some clothes, get up. It's not going to kill you. It's not unto death. And so when you read, now this is where the middle gets real middly, right? And that's because they told him Lazarus was sick and Jesus didn't come running. He stayed 2 more days where he was. Baby, I don't know about you, but I'll tell you this. I expect God when I call, to answer. And that's not spiritually mature, but this is a real podcast with real emotions and a real authentic joy. I have had moments in my life where I pray and I get off my knees and I expect the answer to be right there. And sometimes God delays the answer. Sometimes God intentionally does not move when I expect, first because I shouldn't be expecting that, but also because he has a plan that's greater. Because in the middle, it's going to challenge me what I believe about God. It's going to challenge it. And so Jesus stayed 2 extra days. Now, if you study, you'll see that he stayed 2 extra days, which made it 4 days, which really made Lazarus' body started to decompose and funky and smelly and all of that stuff. But if you don't even pay attention to that, think about the times that you've prayed and asked God to come and it doesn't feel like he's moved fast enough. What's your attitude? So the middle really reveals your attitude while you wait. Are you still trusting and believing? Are you still walking around lifting holy hands? Are you still thanking God for every day? Or are you in that state? Or are you in that, "Oh, I'm so tired, I sure wish"? Or are you posting all of these crazy things so that people can give you sympathy and empathy and support you while you wait? Are you truly in the middle praising? Or are you in the middle pouting? Are you in the middle trusting? Or are you in the middle terrified? Because if you're in the middle terrified, then you don't have any faith that God will do what he said he's going to do. If you're pouting, then you're angry with a God who knows what's best for you, who is creating the space for himself so that he can get the glory out of your life. And so when you're in the middle, and I keep saying in the middle because I want you to get this in your spirit, when you're in the middle, you've got to learn to have the right posture. And the right posture while in the middle is more about God than it is about your discomfort. It's more about God than it is about your circumstance. I should be in the middle saying, God, I am in the middle, but I am not alone. In fact, I'm not in the middle. We in the middle because you're with me. And as your attitude changes about your position, your posture will change. So then now when you're praying, you're not praying, Lord, please deliver me. Take me out. God, I need. Now you're saying, God, you know what? I know you're working on me and I trust your plan and your process. God, I thank you for allowing me to walk through this valley or walk through this journey because I wouldn't know you as Jehovah Shalom. I wouldn't know you as Jehovah Nisi. I wouldn't know you as Jehovah Jireh. So thank you for allowing me to be in this middle state because if I were already where I was, I wouldn't be able to experience you in the way that I'm experiencing you as I'm walking this journey. That's the beauty of the middle, and that's the beauty of your attitude. And you can believe God, let's be honest, and still have moments where your attitude needs alignment. Okay? You can be in the middle and still be frustrated, disappointed, have silent questions, have the God, I thought this was going to happen. That's real life. That's real. That's real walking with God. But you've got to remain anchored. So that means even when I say, Lord, I'm struggling, I don't understand, but I trust you. Lord, I'm disappointed, but I know you have what's best for me. Lord, I thought it was going to turn out like this, but I thank you that you're keeping me and it's going to turn out for my good. Lord, I expected this, but I thank you that you didn't run with my expectations because when I look back, I'm glad it didn't work out like it did. So you've got to remain anchored in the middle. And then if you keep reading this story, you see that Jesus, after 2 days, went to Bethany where Mary, Martha, and Lazarus lived. And what you see is that Martha met him and said, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. So basically, when they sent the message to Jesus, they had an expectation that Jesus would come because he was sick at the time they got the message. But Lazarus progressively got worse and died. Hold on. Now, Lord, when I started this, it was one thing. But now that I'm out here in the middle waiting on you, something else has happened. Something different has happened. Something more has happened. Wait a minute now, Lord. I didn't ask for that. Because had you come when I mentioned this, things could have been different. What do you do when you're waiting on God and what you expected doesn't look like the outcome? In fact, the outcome got worse. What do you do? Here's what I want to encourage you. The middle isn't where Jesus or God stops working. The middle is not where he stops working. It may look like he's not working, but in reality, this is where he does his best work. Because although you're in the middle, he's already seen the end. He knows the end from the beginning. So although Jesus delayed, the story wasn't over. So I'm here to tell you, although you may feel like you're in a season where things aren't going well and you're in the middle, your story isn't over. Your story isn't over. Your story isn't over. Your story, and I know I'm saying that on repeat, but I want you to know that just because you're in the middle doesn't mean your story isn't over. But sometimes we have to be in the middle for God to do the work, not only on the outcome, but on us as well. So when Jesus arrived, the interesting thing is that he didn't immediately raise Lazarus. Martha came and said, had you been here, my brother wouldn't have died. And Jesus commanded, I am the resurrection. And Jesus said, your brother will rise again. Now, here's the thing. My brother's dead, and you telling me he's going to rise again. What that shows is the reassurance that God had not stopped working, the reassurance that God is still doing God things that I can't understand. So when he speaks a thing, it comes to pass. When he speaks a thing, it happens. So if he gave you a promise and a declaration, God is a God of covenant. That means that whatever he has promised you, it will come to pass. You have to learn to wait. And so he said, your brother will rise again. Martha's like, yeah, I know. He's going to rise again in the last day. And then Jesus says, I'm the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. And then he challenged her, do you believe this? In other words, I am the God who can do all things. I am the God who brings life. I am the God who resurrects life. I am the God who, when people believe in me, they live. So he had to get her foundation and fundamental straight. So this isn't about your brother. This isn't about him dying. This isn't about him being sick. This isn't about me coming. This is about me challenging you to say, do you believe I am the God who I say I am? So, sister, here's what I'm saying to you. Do you believe that God is the God that he says he is? Do you believe that he is the I am? Do you believe that he is your provider? Do you believe that he is your strength? Do you believe that he is your peace? Do you believe that he is your joy? Do you believe he is your direction? Do you believe he is your way maker? Do you believe he is your constant? And that's what Jesus challenged Martha with is, do you even believe this? Because I can do all things, but I want to check your belief. And then that brought her back. So while you're focused on what hadn't happened, I'm going to bring you back to the reality that I am the God who can make it happen. So do you believe this? And she had to say yes. So when you're in the middle, sometimes you're in the middle because you got to check your faith. Do you believe God is who he is? Do you believe that he can do what he says he's going to do? So when you're in the middle, change your thoughts, change your attitude, change what comes out of your mouth. The power of life and death is in the tongue, so be careful what you speak while you're in the middle. Because I'm sure Mary and Martha walked around. I know we told Jesus that our brother was sick. Where is he? Where is the Lord? Where is he? I'm sure they had that. But in the middle, God was still moving. And this is why he was able to call Lazarus and tell him to rise. But even if he didn't, he's still God. So even if the circumstance and the outcome doesn't look like you want it to look, friend, he's still God. He's still God. See, hope is not about everything working out immediately. It's about trusting God in the middle, even when nothing has shifted. Because just because you didn't happen to see it the way you expected, it doesn't mean God isn't still going to do it. It's just you've got to have the faith in the middle. Father, help me to trust you in the middle. When things don't look the way I expected, remind me that you are still working and that I am not finished. Remind me that you are with me. Remind me that you love me. Remind me that you are working it out for my good. And then, Lord, give me the ability and the strength and the wisdom to wait on you while I'm in the middle. I hope that blesses you, because as I've been writing this part of the series, I am currently in the middle. And I'll be very honest with you, I am not where I was with Speaking of Joy. I'm in the middle, but it's not quite reached the things that God has shown me in fulfillment or in totality. But I have to encourage myself every day to get up, to do the work he's called me to do, to be present for every woman who is a part of the community, whether it's one woman, whether it's 100 women, to be present and to be here because God is working it out. And when the time is right, God will open up the doors and it will be for his glory. It will be the kind of thing where I can't say nobody did it but the Lord. Well, if you know me, you know that's what I say anyway. But imagine when the other side happens. Imagine when we get where we're going, the hallelujah good time we're going to have. That's all I got, ladies. I'll talk to you real soon. Welcome to Joy for the Journey, the podcast where we explore the winding paths of purpose, faith, and joy. I'm your host, Joy, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. Are you a woman seeking more than just existence and a soul yearning for fulfillment, purpose, and unwavering joy? Well, you're not alone. In this sacred space, we'll navigate the highs and lows, the doubts and triumphs, and the divine whispers guiding us toward our true calling. Through candid conversations, inspiring stories, and practical insights, Joy for the Journey is your compass, your confidant, and your catalyst for embracing the abundant life God intends for you. So if you're ready to reclaim your joy, renew your hope, and rediscover the woman God created you to be, join me on this adventure. Let's walk together step by step towards a life filled with purpose, passion, and unbridled joy. This is Joy for the Journey. Welcome aboard.